All right, so today we are talking about should I buy a 20-year-old motorcycle? Well, the answer, of course, is going to be it depends. So, what's it going to depend on? Well, on one hand, it's going to be cheap. So, that's good. On the other hand, it's going to be cheap. And that's bad because you might be buying 20 years worth of somebody else's problems that you're going to get stuck with. So, let's talk about that. Before we get into it, though, I want you to think about this the whole time. If you buy this old bike that's $3,000 or $4,000, right? 3 or 4 years. Let's just say in 3 or 4 years it totally falls apart. You're going to be out that $3,000 or $4,000. If you buy a brand new bike, equivalent brand new bike, in 3 or 4 years, the amount of depreciation you're going to see is probably going to be really close to what you would have paid in full for this old bike. And then if this old bike actually is good and holds up, you can resell it, get most of your money back, or keep it, and then you've got a really good deal for the next 10 or 20 years or whatever years that you're going to own the thing. So keep that in the back of your mind. So all of my bikes have come off of Marketplace. I do most of my shopping off of Marketplace. Never gotten burned that I can think of. So first bike was a 2015 Honda Grom. It was 7 years old when I bought it. And then the next bike I bought was a 2015 Honda CBR. So it was 8 years old. The next bike I bought was a 2015 Suzuki V-Strom. So now we're at 10 years old. And then just a couple of months ago, I went way back and I bought this 20-year-old SV650. So how did I make the decision to go to this 20-year-old bike? Well, the same as any other bike or really any other product that I want to get. So look at the ad. So first thing I do is, do a search for the type of bike I'm looking for. Something pops up, I take a look at it. The pictures are probably it's gonna do it for me first. So do the pictures, are they blurry? Are they dark? Are they in some back corner somewhere? Do you only get to see the front or one side or multiple pictures of one side? Yeah, I'm already suspicious. Or are the bike pictures, bright and clear, all angles, and, even better, does he have a cold start video to throw in there? That's fantastic. So step one, are the pictures good? Step two, what about how the ad is written? Is it one big long sentence that I'm really having trouble reading and it's misspelled and there's no capitalization or punctuation? Yeah, I know. There's probably some really nice people out there that can't spell, can't capitalize, and can't punctuate, and it doesn't do it for me. Trust your instincts. Most of the time, it's going to be sketch. So, anyways, good pictures, and is the ad well written? So, the next thing would be is you've contacted the person. Where do they offer to meet? I always ask where they'd like to meet. In every case, at least with my motorcycles, they've offered, say, hey, just come over to the house. So I would avoid meeting somebody at 2 o'clock in the morning in an alley or an abandoned parking lot somewhere. So if it's not a police station or, just come to the house or whatever. Also look at the area that it's in. Is the address they give you a bunch of abandoned warehouses, or is it a legit house? So anyway, the first bike, the Grom, it was a husband, wife. Just meet at the house. It was the wife's bike. Looked it over, rode it, took it home. Second one was a husband, wife. Kid was going into the military, so he was selling his bike. Okay, so got it, looked it over, got it. Yeah, took it home. And then third bike was a husband, wife. She just recently got pregnant, and their baby on the way. You might not want to risk being the majority money earner. You might not want to risk your new family. So anyway, he was selling the bike, so I got that bike. And then this one was actually, a early 20-year-old, but he was still living with parents, going to college. And so we met at their house, and the bike was stored in this really nice garage, just an average garage. But there was we roll up the door, and there's this 79, really nice 79 Corvette. I think it was a 79 Camaro, 2005 or 6 R6, all of them in really nice shape, and then this bike. So I can see, it's a clean garage, it's a clean house, clean neighborhood. Obviously they take care of their equipment. So looked it over, took it home. Now, the other thing, of course, will be is when you look over the bike. So I always look for original plastics. So I don't go look at the bike if it doesn't have original plastics. I know a lot of times, people just swap out plastics, but usually means it's been in a wreck, I guess. So when I'm looking at bikes, I always look at factory images. And if the plastics in the marketplace ad match the plastics on the factory photos, yeah, then I think it's going to be good. And then, of course, once I get there, I always check and make, see if I can see the stickers and all that kind of stuff. So in every case, all my bikes had the factory plastics on it. That shows, at least in my estimation, it shows it wasn't abused and dropped. So yeah, I know you can replace it with factory plastics, but whatever. At least if they did that, they went through the expense of replacing like for like. So so I look for that oil. If you lift up the bike and vertical and look in the oil glass, is there oil there, or is it missing? If there's no oil, if you're running a quarter too low on a bike, just walk away. Tires, I think it's 5-7 years, whatever the tire is. Even if it looks brand new, it's never been written, you could have sun checking, you could just lose some of the suppleness. So they recommend that you replace tires. Is it necessary? I don't know. The V-Strom had 10-year-old tires on it until I replaced them this last year. They rode fine, but in the end, I'm one of those that every 5 to 7 years I'm going to change my tires. And the SV650 had, this thing was kept in the garage, so the tires look brand new, but they're 7 years old. So in this case, the price was okay. So I basically said, well, I got to replace the tires, so how about splitting the cost? And so I got a couple $100 off. They agreed to that. I got a couple $100 off for that. So yeah, so look at the ad, look at the pictures, look at the wording. Where are they going to meet you? Go look at the thing, original plastics. Mechanically, does it look good? Look at is it running with fluid in it, or is the antifreeze, or is the antifreeze gone? Those kinds of things. A couple scratches here and there, it's going to happen. A little bit of rust or patina, on the shiny stuff, it's going to happen. I usually overlook that kind of stuff. I just want to make sure that something's been cared for, and not abused, not all scratched up, not beat to heck, So, but anyways, well, that's how I do it. Anyway, like, subscribe, comment. How do you do it? Let me know. I will talk to you later. Hopefully that helps. Bye.